and I believe the heaviest involved in money laundering. It's the Bush narco bank. I like not to talk too much about that though. So they might blame Bank of America while they're plowed under. We'll see. They may not get plowed under. Maybe none of them will be plowed under. I think they're all going to benefit from some of the cryptos with remarkable eye-catching profits. Here's something to think of. You got about 500, 800, 300 major corporations, and they're tokenizing a lot of assets. DTCC, Depository Trust Clearing Corp, just made a deal with NASDAQ to tokenize the entire NASDAQ. And people who call the crypto phase lunatic or a big fraud, they're missing the story. They're missing the story. You need to sign up for the Golden Jackass newsletter called A Hat-Trick Letter and learn about this paradigm shift that is now being joined by Wall Street. I did a show about a month ago with a guy who said, Jim, you wouldn't believe this. I'm doing my third consult session and paid very well with Wall Street analysts who need to learn, are urgently trying to learn about the digital paradigm shift, otherwise known as crypto. I don't like the word crypto. It makes it sound like it's from a crypt, like buried deep and dark.
No, the crypt keeper.
It's digital. Yeah, the crypt keeper. It's digital finance. What's not to like about replacing Swift, which is like 48 hours or maybe 8 hours if you're lucky, and $30? What's not to like about changing that to 3 seconds and 2 cents?
I know. I think the audience is rightly alarmed by the digital currency idea, especially a central bank issued digital currency, which they're going to try to push on us, regardless of what Trump has said. He said there will never be a central bank digital currency under my watch. Meanwhile, he just cut a $70 billion deal with a genocidal maniac over at Pfizer. Health Ranger Mike Adams has been stealing the words right out of my mouth with great tweets lately, a friend of the show. I want to note something here. Mike has 333,000 followers. On this particular tweet, 2.8 thousand engagements. Same thing going on with my channel. He writes, "Welcome to the era of Dark Trump, where President Trump betrays all of the core values of his entire base in order to pocket huge profits for himself while bolstering the very corporations and industries that kill and enslave Trump's own voters." Okay, Mike is not alone in his assessment here. Here's our friend Spiro saying, this is what today was all about with the Pfizer deal, advancing mRNA gene editing technology, transhumanism. Here's Albert Bourla in his own words.
Another area that we announced today, a partnership with BIM, are the rare diseases. These are diseases mainly that they have as a cause a mistake in your DNA. It's a genetic mistake. Something is wrong with your DNA, and as a result, you have a disease. What we try to do with the base gene editing technology, which BIM is a master, it is to produce targets that will be delivered through mRNA that will be able to correct this mistake. There are several gene editing technologies. We did a lot of due diligence, and we thought that the base, this is how it's called, the technology base, is the best. And also we did a lot of due diligence about companies, and the best one was BIM. And this is why we did this partnership.
Jim, I'll pause it there. I'm coming back to you. Albert Bourla is very excited about editing your genes.
Well, I'd like to maybe solve some of the carbon dioxide excess by burying him.
Okay. Well, we know the Green New Deal means that we should all give up our right to our cars, our natural gas. We got to give it all up. We got to tax the air we breathe, and we should probably tax the stuff that we exhale. So that's the Green New Deal, and that's the World Economic Forum. You'll own nothing and be happy.
Well, Trump just relaxed the rules for coal plants. They're not going to shut down the coal plants. It's going to be interesting because we got a serious electricity problem with undercapacity. And I addressed that, not this most recent September, but in the July and August report, I had a full chapter on the electricity problem. We are woefully behind in electricity capacity. And the primary region is the mid-Atlantic states like Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. There are a lot of data centers there. Expect a high electric bill for the next 3 to 5 years. It's going to get worse, not better. Um, I didn't. That's okay. I don't need to address everything that you mentioned here, but I'm very concerned about the conflict that is coming to the front, to the fore, between Robert Kennedy and President Trump. It seems like Robert Kennedy is exposing the cancer cures, is trying to remove the toxic elements and components of our food system, and is assisting various states for lawsuits against Pfizer, when Trump is not supporting his efforts and is now looking more and more like an adversary to Robert Kennedy. And my military sources tell me, Sean, that both the Trump family and the Kennedy family are being threatened for kill by the Rockefellers if they continue.
Well, that is entirely possible. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be a loaded section of the podcast. So we're going to go there right now. And let me just start with this. Let me start with this. Ratioed again, Miss Loomer. You are losing badly. Why do I say that? Because Laura Loomer is all over the internet warning of an Islamic deep state hit, a terrorist attack about to happen at any moment. Meanwhile, so many people are wondering who murdered Charlie Kirk? And could it be related to Israel? Laura Loomer writes, who is the most bad faith actor among the low IQ black power anti-Semites? Candace Owens or Louis Farrakhan? Again, she was highly ratioed for this absolute nonsense. Supercharged writes, how much does Israel pay you? You accuse everyone else of receiving Qatari money. How much does Netanyahu pay you for this communist propaganda? Laura Loomer says 0. Maybe she gets her money from George Soros. Maybe it's from Media Matters for America. Maybe it's from the SPLC. I don't know, but she is definitely an Israeli agent, and she's being ratioed every time she tweets over on X. Now, here's the thing, guys. Candace's Charlie Kirk investigation is ruffling a lot of big talk feathers, leading many to conclude that some very high-profile conservative big talkers, people you recognize, people who are famous, people who have not been deplatformed, are taking dirty Zionist money, the same kind of money Charlie Kirk rejected. And by the way, shit's getting weirder by the minute, and those who take Zionist dirty money don't like it being discussed one bit. Real Candace Owens' investigation has quickly become must-see appointment viewing. Just based on her investigation so far, the initial Patsy Boy decoy, George Zinn, is connected now to Representative Phil Lyman, who ran for Utah governor and lost, and has even publicly endorsed him on Lyman's website during his run for Utah governor. You guys will have to tune in daily to Candace's podcast to understand what that means, but it's very, very fishy. It's weird and getting weirder by the day. Now, my take on this whole thing, Jim, is that Charlie Kirk was getting out of line. He refused to go to Israel and bend the knee to Bibi. He refused to kiss the hand, kiss the little white hat, and kiss the wall. He was offered $150 million in that intervention in the Hamptons, maybe by Bill Ackman, but read between the lines, according to Candace and others. Charlie was waking up, and he wanted to speak out. He was speaking out against the genocide in Gaza. He did not want to take the blood money, the $150 million, and now he's dead. So, in my view, and in the view of many people, I would say the populace, the people are on Candace's side here. She is asking questions and doing an investigation that we have yet to see in any way, shape, or form from the FBI. So, Jim, I know it's a loaded topic. By the way, my friend David Weiss has reached out to me. He wants to have a private conversation, which we will do because I appreciate him. And I think his take on this whole thing is perhaps different than what I've just shared. But that's my take, Jim. Go ahead. What's yours?
This is a very difficult and complicated topic. Let me start off by talking about the background. Charlie Kirk had been threatened for the last, I'm told, 3 or 4 months. He was getting worn down by the threats. In the last probably 3 or 4 weeks before the incident, he was being threatened very clearly, was emotionally distraught, and was very bothered and didn't quite know what to do, and was beginning to get offers to shut up and he turned down the offers. But very recently, before the incident, he began to speak out against what I regard as genocide in Gaza. But it's a topic that I choose not to discuss much because people who do get persecuted and harmed. So I don't. My information is rather voluminous. He was not put after the shooting into an ambulance. There has been no forensic report. They've not identified the bullet that did the damage if it was a kill. They've done no forensic match with the rifle. They paved over a certain area, asphalt, behind Charlie Kirk. The Secret Service, it's not Secret Service, the security given to Kirk is apparently from the country in the southeast corner of the Mediterranean, the control country, I call it. So there's a lot of anomalies. Now, I'm going to mention what a military source told me. The military, and I'm not certain of anything. I was told that Charlie Kirk cooperated with a staged incident, and the actual details don't match anything. A small spurt in the neck does not match a 30-06, which would leave a hole the size of your fist. There's a lot of anomalies. There's indication that the trajectory was from the side, not the front. Tyler Robinson had been followed for a good 3 or 4 weeks before the incident, and there are certain details regarding blank bullets that were put into his rifle. Okay, there's a lot going on, and we need to keep, at least the doorway open a little bit, that he's in witness protection. I'm told at a military base on the mid-Atlantic coast. Now, that's what I was told. So he made a choice, I was told. He made a choice. Rather than a certain sequence of kill events, he went into witness protection.
Can I interject? Let me just interject for the audience who's listening, who thinks that is preposterous. I tend to agree with the audience who thinks it's preposterous. I think it's more likely that what I said is true. Charlie was getting out of line, and the powers that ought not be, the Zionist powers, had a Sophie's choice. You either let him continue to speak freely and sway the minds of young people all over the country and wake them up to the crimes of Israel, to let them learn what Zionism is, and to have the tide turn against the genocide in Gaza. You either let him continue to speak, or you shoot him and make him a martyr if you kill him, perhaps even enhancing what he was saying. So I tend to, for me personally, in this case, Occam's razor is they actually murdered him and he's gone, because I think he had more courage than somebody that would take that deal and go into witness protection.
Occam's razor belongs anywhere in the cabinet in the last 3 or 4 years. Okay, I noticed, Sean, with respect, you didn't address a single one of the anomalies that I mentioned, and you.
Well, I'll take them on. I'll take them on one by one. Okay? Which one first?
Well, where's the bullet to match the ballistics from the rifle?
Well, that's what we're all asking. Okay, we're also asking.
Well, that's an anomaly that you're not addressing.
No, wait, one by one. We're all asking that. Everybody who's investigating that, Ryan Maada, Health Ranger, Mike Adams, Ian Carroll, I would argue, of course, Candace Owens, we're all asking that. And we're asking, was it a bullet at all? Could it have been a microphone with a shaped charge? Okay, could it have been a shooter on the roof, but a different location, a professional shooter? I firmly believe that Tyler Lee Harvey Robinson is a patsy. And by the way, according to George Webb and others, it is now confirmed that Tyler Robinson, a straight A student with a 4.0 average, was in a CAI program, a training program for the CIA for young people that are extremely talented and smart. So the question I would have is, did he have a gun on the roof? Because he can't fold that gun. How did he get the gun off the roof? How did the gun find its way reassembled into the woods? Was Tyler Robinson on the roof at all? Because according to Candace, she's getting information that indicates Tyler was never on that campus on September 10th at all. So that's point one. Where's the bullet? Who knows? Was it a bullet at all, Jim?